Without warning, the tentacle drove into her vagina, stretching her wide in seconds, and making the girl scream in pain.
You know the sound, like, from Tom and Jerry that Tom makes when he, like, gets hurt?
Ah! It's like the fucking scream or the...
Yeah, that's better! I was thinking of the other one.
I was thinking of, like, when he gets his foot slammed in a fucking door and he's like... It's like...
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and anything in between, this is... I actually forgot the name. Her Innocence, a Little Mermaid fanfiction, rated M.
Yep, for mermaid. It's rated M for mermaid. Okay. Hi, I'm here. I'm here to read a fanfiction.
Hibbibi.
I'm Hibbibi-san. Okay, Bibi, whatever.
Warning. I bet you thought I was going to say
Warning,
something.
this is a rated M for a reason. That reason being pure smut. So it's smut. That's what the intro... Oh god.
What's Dubcon?
It's inspired by what a fanfiction called Tentacled.
Maybe we should read that one after this.
Yeah. Alright.
Revised at the request of the author of Tentacled. So whatever they did here is probably really similar to whatever they did on Tentacled.
It's gotta be better. It's the second thing written. Okay. Who starts?
I'll start.
Okay.
Because I like how it starts. Because the fucking title is Her Innocence. Ooh. No, Ariel. The sea witch is evil. Evil. She would kill you in a heartbeat. Less than that even.
When warning of Ariel of the dangers of visiting the manipulative and evil sea witch failed, Sebastian the Crab had to resort to more desperate measures. How can you go against your father like this? Betray everything your father stands for, his own daughter.
Father will never understand. He can't know that I love Eric. He would smite him with his trident in moments if he thought it would stop me from seeing him again. Which it would, Ariel admitted, because he's too prejudiced against humans to see that they aren't all bad.
Humans are evil! Screamed the crustacean.
I will never believe that, and nothing you can do or say will ever change my mind. Just go away, Sebastian. Go report to Father like you do every day, ruining everything. I am not a child. And with that, the red-headed mer princess rapidly flipped her tail, throwing off the scarlet Sebastian, not that he wasn't always red, and swam away, speeding through the warm ocean currents.
However, mere moments after she'd lost the crabby crustacean, Ariel stopped gazing around. She wasn't quite sure where the sea witch's cave was exactly. Father had always forbidden her from going within miles of it, but she was sure it wouldn't be far off.
Suddenly, as she floated motionlessly, lost in thought, a slender flash of black crossed over her vision. Then another passed by. She jumped, edgily? Is edgily even a... No, I don't think edgily is a word. They made that shit up. They Dr. Seuss that shit right in there. Edgily glancing around. When she turned back around, two eels were staring at her craftily. Oh no, this isn't where it starts, is it?
Ariel bit her lip and gazed at them. They weren't black at all, more of a grayish green. Their golden eyes examined her closely, and the redhead uneasily wrapped her arms around herself.
They were bigger. They're blacker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's too much for Ariel.
Alright.
Well, what do we have here? One of the eels asked in a sly voice, moving toward her and moving in a circle around her. Ariel turned to face it as it moved, and she squealed when the other moved over her shoulder, speaking in her ear.
A little mermaid far away from home. It slowly joined the first eel.
Who are you? She asked, slightly frightened.
We are associates of Ursula, the sea witch, the first replied, shifting around to her left and twining through her hair. Ariel's blue eyes widened.
You know, I thought of something. Like, being a mermaid, your hair is just always just
it's all over the place.
Quality.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's never just
Yeah,
No.
if there's ever any shampoos that have mermaids as their logo or something like that, that's total bullshit because seawater is absolute shit for your hair.
No.
It's just constantly like straw.
Salty all over, just gross.
Yeah, no, she's not like eels can't slick through her hair like she's been using Pantene. No, they're gonna get like fucking stuck and tangled in there forever.
Yeah.
Like who knows what's in fucking Ariel's hair?
Oh god.
Like
This
fucking Eric pulls
shit-
her up and she's got like
This
barnacles.
fish shit
and
is just barnacles, a bunch
Yeah.
of sea debris in her hair.
We're associates of Ursula, the sea witch.
Oh.
Oh wait. Was
Yeah,
that your
we're
line?
on. Can you take me to her?
Okay. Ariel's blue eyes wide. Okay. Oh, this is my line.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Can you take me to her? She asked the second eel. It gazed at her silently before twisting its way around her waist. She shivered at the feel of its smooth, scaly coat on her bare skin.
Yes. One of them hissed in her ear.
Yes!
They began to casually pull her forward through the murky waters. The two continued to move around her, brushing her bare skin, wrapping around her tail, coiling through her silky hair.
Like silky hair skin or other things I've read, which is, oh fuck. Every time, there was one person who every time they said rapping, it always said raping.
God, whipping through her hair.
Raping around her tail. Yeah.
Oh.
The sea witch's cave soon loomed ahead in the murky distance, black and forbidding. Swallowing back her fear, she glanced behind her to see if her crustacean guard and fishy friend Flounder were following away. Where is Flounder? Was Flounder even around? Because he has had 0 lines and 0 reference.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe she just hangs out.
It's hopes that
He hangs
Flounder
out.
shows up, yeah. Her bright blue eyes couldn't spot them in the green-blue water, but that didn't mean that they weren't there. So she put on her bright red eyes. That didn't work. The two eels moved ahead of her, glancing back every so often to make sure that she was following.
Ariel turned back to the cave and swam forwards, thinking about what had driven her to ask for Ursula's help. She sighed dreamily as she thought of the dark hair, strong body, and handsome features of Eric, the human she had saved from the shipwreck. Her pretty porcelain face quickly turned stormy as she cowled, thinking of the destruction her father had wrought on her precious grotto. Once filled with beautiful, interesting human things, now in ruins.
Her father would never understand, not since her mother's death at the prow of a human ship. He had hated them ever since.
Sooner than she thought, Ariel saw the eels enter the forbidding mouth of Ursula's cave. She shuddered as she entered, gazing over the living polyps that covered the floor and walls. They stared at her in beadily dark eyes, with beadily dark eyes that seemed like to scream, "Go back, go back."
She continued to gaze at them, fascinated and horrified. Suddenly, one of them leapt up and grabbed her wrist, and another pulled her on her tail, making her scream in disgust and fright. Then the eels were there, biting at the polyps. The gross creatures let her go, and the eels moved her forward. She looked back at the brown things once more, but she looked away from them and continued to the main chambers. So this whole scene was pointless.
Yeah.
Where she found Ursula waiting. She hesitated before entering, gazing at the half-woman, half-octopus witch that poured over the cauldron. She was large, with periwinkle blue skin at the human top half and the many thick, pure black tentacles of lavender undersides, and I just realized what's gonna happen next. And suction cups. Her hair was silvery white, and her eyes were black, and her lips were red, though Ariel's long hair was brighter.
"I've been expecting you, my dear. Come, come, we mustn't lurk in doorways," she said, turning
please
around
don't
and
come.
smirking at the mermaid. Ariel flinched back a little, startled.
"How did you know I was coming?" she asked curiously, edging a little closer.
Yeah, I bet there's gonna be some coming and some edging here in a second.
Oh.
Oh, shit. My dear, I am a sea witch. I can foresee many, many things. So, you want to become a human? It wasn't a question.
"Can you do it?" Ariel asked hopefully.
Ursula threw her a calculating glance. "I can do anything, my dear, but everything comes with a price.
No!
The only question is, will you accept it?"
So excited at the idea of becoming human, Ariel missed the way Ursula's eyes roamed over her slim figure and the sly smirk on her lips. I'll do anything, give you anything you want. Just please make me human, she begged.
Wonderful. I will make you human for 3 days, just 3, no more, no less. If your prince kisses you by the end of those 3 days, you will be a human forever. If not, you will return to the ocean, and then we'll see. But we must relocate. I think your little friends have followed you here. Come, you wish to be human, the witch replied.
Come if you wish to be human.
Yeah.
No, no! Ariel glanced back at the entrance tunnel with a terrified look. I have to be with Eric. Take me with you. Just before they come, there's a lot of coming going on.
Yeah. Huh.
She swam to Ursula's side. Ursula grabbed a hold of her arm and released a spurt of ink. Now there's spurts!
Now there's spurts!
No! Twisting her tentacles, Ariel coughed and waved her arm in front of her face when the ink faded away, and she realized that they were somewhere else.
She could see the sandy beach from... Oh, she meant they were somewhere else, as in both of them.
Oh.
Not her tentacles.
Yeah.
Alright.
Of course, that's what I meant.
She could see the sandy beach from where they floated under the water. There was dry land all on one side of wherever they were, and she could see the sky.
Are we on the beach? She nearly squealed in joy. Are we?
Yes, we are, but we are in a safe area, a place only I know of, where no humans and certainly not your crabby little friends can discover us. It is here that I will make you human, and here that you will pay my price.
I didn't bring anything to pay you with, Ariel exclaimed with dismay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, no. My price is not coins or material treasures. No. My price, my dear, is your virginity, Ursula replied, a crafty smile on her red mouth.
Hey, virginity, if you're a girl in, anywhere, if you keep that V card for a long ass time, you can sell that shit for a lot. I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying do it.
All right. Let's get back. No. Stop. We got. Let's just get back to this, please. Let's just get back.
But you could.
No. Let's just whatever. Let's just get back.
Okay.
You're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's my line,
yeah.
Which is 2 words. What's that?
Virginity is something all human girls have, my sweet. Once you are human, you will be able to give it to me. You'll never miss it. I might even make the payment enjoyable. We'll see.
If Ursula is a sea witch, does that mean she can create her own hymen and break it, and then recreate it and break it again? If she's so infatuated with taking virginities, why doesn't she just keep taking her own fish virginity or octopus?
I don't even want to see. Oh my god, her tentacles go just inside of herself.
Yeah.
Over and over.
All right then, Ariel replied. If it wasn't something she would miss, then why not? Just as long as she could be human, and they were already on the beach, all she'd have to do was walk away.
That's a great day for a beach party. Anyways, no.
Not a great day for a beach party.
All right. Now go on. I must prepare to turn you into a human, Ursula said, shooing the mermaid away as she summoned a cauldron and several potion ingredients, muttering several incantations to herself as she sprinkled and mixed together the collection. Her potion was soon complete.
Princess, she called. The mermaid eagerly swam over, brushing away the daydreams of Eric. She handed the vial full of potion to Ariel, and the scarlet-haired girl drank it without hesitation. Ursula chanted a spell while making several hand gestures over the green-looking mermaid. Potions were absolutely foul.
A bright orangey pink light surrounded the mermaid's body, and her back arched in pain. Her muscles tightened and she convulsed, inadvertently swallowing water.
Ursula sighed and shook her head, pushing the top half of the still quivering mermaid turning human onto the beach. Ariel screamed in agony as her tail stiffened like a board, a flash of fiery pain running straight down the center, splitting it in two. The same throbbing flew to her chest, and she watched in pain as her breasts grew at least 3 or 4 times larger than they had before. The pain disappeared, though her seashells had... Oh, my fucking phone. Shit, now I lost my place.
Oh
here
my
we go.
god, I read a little bit more of it.
Yeah, I've been doing that too, and it's self-punishment every time I do. The pain disappeared through her seashells and had grown so small that her breasts ached from the pressure that smashed them down.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. That's gotta be painful. Anyways, Ariel sighed as all the pain finally disappeared. I'm alright, she whispered to herself. At the same time, she wondered what human women needed breasts this large for.
Anime.
They were heavy, and they seemed more sensitive than before her transformation. Of course it did. She could feel all the ridges and curves of the 2 small seashells on her tits. Although that could be because they were so squished.
Good, Ursula replied. Wait, why am I Ursula now? This person fucking... Oh, it's because the narrative split it.
Yeah.
Good, Ursula replied. Ariel started not having realized that the sea witch had joined her on the beach. When she jerked at Ursula's voice, her hand brushed against the end of the older woman's tentacle, and the sea witch twitched. Oh god. No, are her tentacles like throbbing and gross? Her tentacles are extremely sensitive, about the equivalent of a human male's reproductive organ. In comparison, she sneered at but which was true nonetheless.
And now, for your payment, Ursula mentally rolled her eyes at the is that naive?
Naive.
Yeah,
naive.
Oh, wait.
Naivete? I don't know.
I don't fucking
they got
know.
the E thing.
Yeah, it's the
They
weird...
got the Pokemon E.
Yeah, and then the weird, like, ellipses or whatever over the eye of the Little Mermaid human.
The new generation of Pokemon is looking very promising. Does this kind of look like Ursula fucking Ariel?
Man, I wonder how much... Oh, never mind.
Hey, I think that priest has a boner. You know what I'm referencing right there.
Yeah. Alright. Where was I? Fuck. Where was I? Okay, she eventually rolled her eyes at the Little Mermaid human.
Ariel, who spotted her legs, was now examining them minutely, looked up. I still don't know what it is. What is it? Where is it?
You can't give it to me, my dear. I have to take it from you, Ursula said, casually reaching out and snaking a tentacle around the girl's back.
You know, this would be... I feel like it'd be a lot better. You have to take those dots seriously. Like, that's spacing, man.
Wait, where?
You,
Oh, I have to take it from you.
yeah, see how much different that is?
Yeah, I did it earlier. I just was... Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Here, I have to take it from you, she said, casually reaching out and snaking a tentacle around the girl's back.
I'm gonna read this like I think it is. Ah. Ariel replied simply, barely glancing at the tentacle, too enraptured by her new porcelain legs. You can take it then.
It will take some time to acquire, I think, Ursula admitted. So why don't you just lie down on your back and put your pretty little legs together? I'll begin as soon as you're in position.
I think that's what my Boy Scout leader told me one time.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
It's a lie. I was never in Boy Scouts.
I was.
Oh, you were?
Anyway, let's just get back to the... Alright.
Yeah. Ariel quickly laid back and put her new legs together, eager to pay... Wait. Put her new legs together. Oh, like she closed her legs. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put her new legs together. Wait. You already... Okay, yeah, you read that. What the fuck is that noise?
I don't know.
I wonder if this is showing up on the recording.
I hope it does.
That's such a strange noise. It sounds like...
It almost sounds like a weed eater, but it could be, I don't know, rain falling really fast. Anyways.
It's really fast rain. It kind of sounded like somebody, like two people were racing, like, electric push mowers.
Yeah. Alright,
So she put her legs together and she was eager to pay and go find Eric.
Ursula slid into the water, swirling away the sand that had stuck to her numerous tentacles. She cast a small spell on herself and Ariel. Let me restart that. She cast a small spell on herself and Ariel that would prevent the sand from sticking to her appendages and the newly turned human's leaf body. Leaf body.
That's important. You don't want sand getting up in there. It's no good.
The witch pulled out of the water and straddled Ariel's body.
What are you doing? Ariel asked curiously with a small measure of fear. She really had no idea what Ursula wanted.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh man, I was kind of hoping to read this next part, but it's your line.
Why don't you shut your pretty little mouth? Ursula suggested, one of her fingernails tracing Ariel's scarlet lips. You wouldn't want me to gag you, would you?
Oh man, Ursula in the actual Little Mermaid sounds a lot like somebody I know. I don't want to say who it is because a certain sibling of mine watches my videos. He will hear this, and if he has it playing out loud and I say exactly who it sounds like, somebody's gonna get really upset. So, anyway.
Alright.
What? Ariel's question was cut by two of Ursula's thick tentacles that wrapped themselves around her head and covered her mouth and eyes. Ariel struggled, attempting to worm her way out from under the sea witch, but Ursula was too heavy.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you forgot Ursula's really fat.
Yeah, she's really fat. Whatever. Stop moving, or you won't like the consequences, Ursula snapped. Ariel ignored her and continued to move, making Ursula sigh.
Oh well, I did. That's hot. Oh, okay. I thought Ariel was sighing for some reason. Oh well, I did warn her. 4 of her tentacles snapped out, and one for each one of her human limbs. Her ankles and wrists were effectively pinned. Ariel could barely make a sound besides whimpering, plus she couldn't see.
Ariel subsided quickly when Ursula didn't move, curious as to what exactly this virginity and where it was located. She was sure she'd be able to feel whatever it was, and maybe she had more than one. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. Maybe she had more than one. Sorry, there's an explanation for it. I had to.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right.
Ursula smirked and leant forward. Fuck it.
Lean forward, I guess.
Yeah. Ursula smirked and leaned forward slightly, allowing her tentacles to force apart Ariel's legs. Ariel resisted momentarily, feeling as though she should at least try, but stopped rather quickly when it barely affected the sea witch's movements. She sighed inaudibly, no longer resisting. The tentacle over her eyes moved and she could see again.
The periwinkle-skinned woman reached forward with 4 more thick black tentacles that paused near Ariel's breasts. They were far larger than before her transformation into a human, and the purple seashells that before had covered her entire breast. And then some barely covered her nipples now. A tentacle snaked around her back. But the tie... Snake? Snake? Here we go. Fuck. Where was I? Oh. That had covered her breast. Some barely covered her nipples now. A tentacle snaked around her back, but the tie that held the shells to her chest was so tight against the human skin that the tentacle couldn't undo the knot. Ursula smirked, darkly teasing, and popped the strap against the little girl's skin.
Ariel squeed. You know, that's fine. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Ariel squeed.
Squeed. Yeah. Ariel squeed in pain.
Anyway, sorry.
From behind the tentacle that gagged her, the strap was so tight that it left a welt on the pale skin where Ursula had just snapped it against her. The sea witch then just snapped the seashells in two, flinging that. No. There's 2 seashells. You snapped them in 4. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, flinging them off Ariel's pale mounds. Ursula inspected them for a moment. Did you also think a mound of dirt?
Yeah, yeah.
I did think
two mounds of dirt.
Ursula inspected them for a moment, seeing the obvious enlargement. They would now be a little larger than the span of her own hands. The nipples and areolas had also grown in proportion with her breast, as they were pale pink and the nipples were large but soft.
My nipples look like milk duds.
That tea kettle hurt my chest. You ever laugh like that?
Yeah.
You
Like
ever laugh so hard that you laugh blood?
Yeah. Alright. Where are we? We at... Ursula half-side. I'd almost pretty a nice pair of pert titties could look. Some of my best work, I think. She reached out with her actual hands, scooping them, one in each, to get a feel for their weight and shape. Her touch was not soft, it was rough. Judging carelessly, Ariel gazed at her with the same naive, curious intent. No one had ever touched her like this before, but it felt oddly good, yet wrong.
Yeah, that's like touching yourself for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, what did I just do? But at the same time, you're like, yeah, whatever, it feels pretty good.
I feel dirty.
I feel dirty! Anyways.
Ursula fondled Ariel's breasts roughly, squeezing them tightly with both... Oh, sorry, I'm fucking...
I read it as squeezing them tiddly. Oh, no.
I like that better. Yeah, Ursula fondled Ariel's breasts roughly, squeezing them tightly with her hands until she was satisfied. 2 of the 4 tentacles moved back down while the other 2 were wrapped around the base of each of her tits. And then the suction cups latching onto her skin.
Oh, God.
Ursula twisted her large, pert nipples harshly, and they were hardened slowly from the base to the tip, where Ursula twisted them painfully. Ariel began to struggle against the painful touches, but Ursula's tentacles pinned her arms and legs down, and the woman's sheer size kept Ariel in place. What does she get from this? What does she get to...
What does Ariel get?
How does she get off to this?
Ariel? Or the Ursula?
What do octopuses look like when they're having sex? Because
well,
this is important to how...
According to this fanfiction, her tentacles were extremely sensitive, like a male's reproduction organ.
Alrighty, so here...
So all of her tentacles are dicks, basically.
Yeah, so there we have it. Apply this to real life. You have an octopus, and octopi have 8 dicks.
Alrighty then.
I'm sure there's a word for this for an animal that has multiple...
Octodick? You poor unfortunate girl, the large woman leered down at the helpless
Poor unfortunate girl.
You poor unfortunate girl.
Go ahead. Make your choice.
The large woman leered down at the helpless former mermaid. No one's ever touched you, tasted you. I do so love little virgins, so untouched and uncorrupted.
She bent her head and enveloped one of Ariel's large nipples into her mouth. She swirled her lithe tongue around it, smirking to herself when she heard Ariel's heavy breathing. Carefully yet harshly she bit the tip, making Ariel cry out in pleasure and pain. Ariel unconsciously arched her back into the warm wetness of Ursula's mouth, and the witch opened her mouth impossibly wide.
Oh my god!
A result of another spell in preparation for this very moment.
There's a picture I really
want. She just, like, fucking unhinged her jaw like a snake.
Stretched her fucking mouth.
The tit. Yeah.
Oh god, the entire fucking tit. The entire tit is in her mouth. Where were you?
That would be interesting, but very frightening. Taking in the girl's entire tit. Oh, wait. I'm just, like, quoting me! Oh, fuck. She caressed it with her tongue, and the tentacle wrapped around the base and squeezed and massaged it roughly. The combination made innocent little Ariel moan with pleasure.
Her other hand and tentacle pumped the princess's other breast harder in conjunction, making Ariel's eyes roll back in her head. The sea witch switched breasts and squeezed the wet breast as she sucked on the other.
I want to think that when it said she switched breasts, that, like, she switched her own breasts and changed
Yeah.
What? Wait, hold on. Was it you that... I think it was Kira that showed me this video. It was like some anime chick with really huge tits and like she stood
Oh my
up
god,
really
yeah!
fast and then
Like a
twisted and
propeller!
changed. We can put that in there too. But
I don't
again,
remember where...
fit it all into a text and
Oh,
send that shit.
that was great, alright.
Oh, okay. When she felt Ariel's lower abdomen and legs twitching, she released both breasts and the little princess moaned in displeasure. Ursula inspected the... Oh wait, moaned in displeasure? Ah! Ursula inspected the results of her handiwork, noting the flush that had appeared in the mounds of the pert, stiff nipples that pointed to the sky.
Reach for the sky to pretentious.
They elongate to the sky.
That's what I imagined. Not very
your
tasty.
tit dad, your tit father that told you both, the sky's the limit. I've finally done it. Are you happy now, Dad?
Not very tasty, she remarked, tapping her chin mock thoughtfully, whatever. Ariel looked at her from half-lidded eyes. The sea witch let a wicked smile spread across her lips, and she moved off of the princess's body. However, 4 tentacles now kept the girl's arms pinned, and the 2 on her legs had also multiplied to 4. The leg tentacles moved Ariel's legs up and apart, so that in the end she lay on her back, but with her legs in the air, so her hairless nether lips.
Nether lips?
So her hairless nether lips and ass were bared. Ursula could see them well from her position between Ariel's spread legs.
New favorite thing.
Nether lips!
Nether lips. And I'm gonna bring it up on more than one occasion after this.
Nether
you
lips.
guys will never hear it. You won't be here, but it's gonna be a great inside joke.
Nether lips.
I feel like we're peaking the mic at times.
Yeah.
It looks like we are definitely peaking the mic at times.
Yeah, probably.
Apologies, everybody.
Up there.
She examined the girl's feminine parts, smirking darkly as she saw the innocent princess was dripping wetness. Like, have you ever dripped dryness? Does like sand ever come out of your dick?
How do you drip dryness?
Yeah. Well, she's dripping wetness.
Maybe dripping, yeah.
As opposed to dripping dryness.
Dripping wetness, just all the seawater's just coming out of her fucking nether lips.
Why did you think of that?
She still has water like in her body and just starts like flowing like the water. Anyways.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Ocean man,
the
take me by the hand.
lips that you're used to. Yeah, I'm gonna find it and then I'm gonna like interrupt.
Alright, without a word of warning, she drew her finger across Ariel's slit and flicked her clit. Ariel slid and flicked her clit. Ariel groaned in pleasure, tossing her head.
And moving her hips as much as she was able, Ursula played with the girl's clitoris, pinching it and rolling it in her fingers. Ariel's moans and heavy breaths
Fucking
made them...
dribbling that clit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah, like one of those punching bags.
I'm glad we're drawing inspiration from the same place.
Yeah, I you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Ariel's moans and heavy breaths made the witch smile.
Ariel had never, ever experienced these... Just get in the background as I'm reading. Ariel had never, ever experienced these sensations before. No mermaid had. She was unprepared for these touches. And what would follow, she screamed when Ursula drove a finger into her virgin vagina, still playing with her clit in ways that made the princess's vision swim.
Oh shit. Okay, sorry. I was reading a whole different paragraph. The sea witch removed her fingers after several minutes of this torturous teasing, only grabbed hold of Ariel's left ass cheek, squeezing it roughly. With a leer on her lips, she told the little innocent human that she was about to feel something she'd never felt before. She was right. I think she feels a lot of things that she's never felt before.
With a laugh at Ariel's dazed expression, she drew a thick tentacle close and probed the redhead's wet hole with it.
All of her holes are wet. She's in the fucking water.
Making the girl twitch in surprise. Without warning, the tentacle drove into her vagina, stretching her wide in seconds, and making the girl scream in pain. Tears dripped from her bright blue eyes as the tentacle continued to move deeper inside her.
I just had a noise for this.
Ursula paused when she felt Ariel's virginal wall.
You know the sound, like, from Tom and Jerry that Tom makes when he, like, gets hurt?
Ah! It's like the fucking scream or the...
Yeah, that's better! I was thinking of the other one. Like, with, like,
Yes!
we need to have this. This needs to happen. This video will not be uploaded without that sound.
Oh,
holy
fuck!
shit.
Hold on, I fucking hit the... Hold on,
No, don't find it. I will put it in later.
No,
I was thinking of the other
Hold
one.
on. I was thinking of, like, when he gets his foot slammed in a fucking door and he's like... It's like...
No, it's actually a lower... It's a lower pitched one.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Alright, I'm just writing it down.
Fuck, where am I? Yeah, definitely take note of this.
Oh, fuck, I can't breathe. Alright. Oh.
Shit!
Alright, I think we're at, okay, I ended with, Ariel's virginal wall, so I think you're at...
Virginal, it is virginal wall.
Yeah, virginal wall, yeah. I think you're, this will hurt, I think is what you're at.
This will hurt. And were her only 3 words before breaking the wall and pushing farther. Oh my god. Oh, okay, not vaginal wall. Right, virginal wall, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Before breaking the wall and pushing farther in, Ariel convulsed as much as she was able to, in pain, sobbing and screaming her lungs out.
The sea witch ignored her cries and pulled out the tentacle, washing away some of the blood before pushing it back in and pumping hard. She pinched the girl's clit hard and Ariel yelled as her stomach tightened. Ah!
God!
Wait! Have you ever had your clit pinched? Have you ever had your clit pinched so hard that you're pissed blind?
Yes! Holy shit!
Oh
this is the best
my
reading.
god! Oh, the girl's clit hard. And Ariel. Hold on.
Venereal?
Hold on, can you...
Yeah.
Make sure, yeah. Okay. Clit hard and Ariel yelled as her stomach tightened and she had her very first orgasm. The princess felt herself contract around the thick tentacle and suddenly it stopped, making her grasp and collapse back, trying to breathe but failing due to the tentacle that still gagged her. Oh, I'm sorry, it's more like...
Ursula removed the tentacle in her mouth and Ariel wheezed.
You liked that, didn't you, princess? Ursula leered. Fortunately for you, there will be more where that came from.
Ursula lay on her back and 8 tentacles lifted Ariel into the air so that she lay on her stomach. Ariel's stomach. Her heavy breasts hung down and Ursula squeezed them harshly. Ariel stared down at her subjugator and whimpered in fear and pain. Ursula smiled up at her darkly and continued to touch her breasts.
Suddenly, Ariel felt a tentacle prodding at her swollen pussy. It thrust inside of her and she moaned in pleasure. It thrust inside of her and it pushed in and out, going further and further in every time. Another 2 tentacles spread apart her ass cheeks painfully and she felt another tentacle swirling around her tight asshole. The girl... Sorry, I just can't stop thinking about that. The girl tried to look back but couldn't. Abruptly, she felt another tentacle enter her pussy instead of her asshole. The two tentacles were very thick, and they stretched her even farther. They started up a rhythm, one tentacle moving farther in, then back, then the other doing the same. However, both tentacles, both tentacles stayed in her vagina at the same time.
Unexpectedly, as she moaned her pleasure, Ariel felt, oh my god, I think this is where the writer's excitement happens. I'm gonna call it writer's excitement now. This is canon. Writer's excitement is when the writer starts to get excited by their own work. So excited that they start to make errors, like spelling errors and like fucking grammatical errors.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, as she moaned her pleasure, Ariel felt the tentacle that had been prodding her asshole push into it, and her virgin ass was no longer. Her ass just disappeared.
Oh shit.
She squealed.
Alakazam!
You don't have an asshole anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Oh shit! You won't be able to do that anymore. Anyway, she squealed in pain and it stretched her tight little ass, moving in the same rhythm as the tune in her pussy.
After continuing this for several minutes, drawing grunts and loud moans from the girl, Ursula grew bored with the same routine and decided to up the ante.
Kaboom! And your ass is gone! Ariel cried out as a third bulky tentacle was shoved into her vagina. Then a fourth? She was being stretched to her limits and screamed in pain with each tentacle's movement. You better not be fucking getting a boner. Like, not you. Like, well, yes, you too. Me. And anybody that's listening to this, if you are becoming erect from this, stop.
Just stop. Just close the
fucking
video.
Lop it off.
Just close out the video and just call a therapist. Just do something that isn't.
Call the rapist.
Yeah. Oh God.
She screamed in pain with each tentacle's movement, yet also moaned gutturally in pleasure as each tentacle turned to stroked a spot inside of her that made her see stars. There's another writer's excitement.
Somehow, Ursula managed to force two more enormous tentacles into Ariel's ass, moving them roughly as her second and third orgasms rocked through her. Bam, down, down. Anyways. Just like fucking, yeah.
The little human begged and pleaded for more, and Ursula obliged, allowing 4 of her tentacles to return to the girl's breasts, crushing them? Fuck!
Holy
hell.
shit!
Crushing them together while...
Fucking Eric's gonna get, like, some serious sloppy seconds.
Oh my god. He just, like, goes to stick it in, but, like, he slides in.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile,
I'm
Meanwhile, Ariel's just like, is it in yet?
Alright.
Yeah. Okay, shit, where was I? Crushing them, yes.
Oh, here we go.
Crushing them while harshly pinching and twisting her hard rock nipples. The tentacles holding Ariel up also twisted her so she was sitting in the air, her legs spread wide, letting the tentacles in her vagina penetrate deeper and deeper. They no longer kept up a one-by-one rhythm, simply moving 2 in as far as they would go before pulling them back and pushing the other 2 in. Ariel moaned and screamed in her pleasure. Ursula's rough ministrations. Don't worry about hitting that. It only does it every 15 minutes.
Alright, cool. Open wide, little princess, Ursula cried. And, open wide, little princess. And Ariel opened her mouth. The witch had other plans. In one forceful push, all 4 tentacles in her pussy pushed in as far as they could, stretching Ariel wider and wider. The tentacle on her ass did the same, shoving farther in. The dark appendages on her breasts squeezed and twisted tighter than ever. The girl screamed. The girl screamed for all she was worth, writhing in pleasure and pain. The witch hissed out a spell that would make Ariel's vagina and asshole as tight as holy shit. Hold on.
As tight as a virgin's the next time she and only she fucked her.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's fucking mental right there. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking. I feel like at this point she was just like turning her inside out. was like, alright, you're human now. I did my part and we'll go back to the ocean.
I think we're on...
Yeah, the girl was so tight and wet and warm that Ursula's tentacles began to swell, making Ariel scream ecstatically in a pitch so high only dogs could have heard it. She could feel them growing bigger inside of her, poking every spot that made her see fireworks. Ursula grew even larger as Ariel's ass and vagina contracted tighter. She released herself with a loud, satisfied cry, exploding inside of and on the princess.
Okay, this is disgusting.
Well, you could do it.
Alright. Hot cum filled Ariel's pussy and ass. She nearly passed out at the feeling. The seed filled every space that Ursula's tentacles hadn't, and she orgasmed 3 times in succession.
Oh, hey, if you want to see something like this, go watch Fu Taboo. That's Fu Taboo, the greatest hentai in the world.
Cum from Ursula's tentacles that had held up her body and played with her breasts covered said tits and most of her arms and legs.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Ursula removed the tentacles from Ariel's swollen body, setting Ariel down.
When you have recovered your strength, I will send you to your prince, she told the girl. Ariel nodded and collapsed between the sea witch's thick, wonderful tentacles.
I just have one question, Ursula, she said breathlessly.
Oh no. God. Yes, my dear?
Do I have to go to Eric? She asked quietly, staring into the woman's eyes.
It was our bargain, but you have paid. It is up to you.
The mermaid turned human picked up 2 of Ursula's tentacles and placed them onto her breasts, where they began massaging them gently. Ariel frowned and moved them more aggressively. Getting the idea, the tentacles squeezed and prodded her breasts roughly like Ursula's had done before. Ariel moaned in pleasure, but it wasn't enough for the insatiable girl.
She gripped a thicker, bigger tentacle and pushed it into her vagina, pleasuring herself with it. The redhead groaned gutturally and ground herself against the tentacle, whimpering and moaning with pleasure as the suction cups sucked and clung to her inner walls erotically and the thick skin brushed against her star spot. As she now thought of it, Ariel felt a pulse in her vagina and she put another tentacle on her own clit, writhing innocently as it toyed with her sensitive nub.
Ursula watched, smiling seductively as Ariel humped her tentacles. The girl orgasmed yet again, moaning and crying out Ursula's name. The sea witch smirked at the heat that surrounded her and her sensitive member as it swelled up, making Ariel moan louder. The tentacles on her breast and clit began squeezing and pinching and prodding and I'm inserting hands, twisting and sucking harder. And the little mermaid human came hard on Ursula's tentacle again.
Enough. The sea witch finally said, removing her tentacles from Ariel's body. The girl whimpered at the loss, and Ursula tweaked her flushed nipples with her hands. We will continue this later.
Ursula knew that the fish and crab had come and gone from her larger cave, but didn't want to risk taking Ariel there, so she pulled Ariel back to the water and said a cunning spell that would allow the girl to breathe underwater as long as she stayed with the sea witch. She then released a squirt of ink and they reappeared in her private chambers. Ariel gazed around, spotting a large lounge and vanity with mirror covered in makeup. It was fairly empty other than a large wardrobe in the corner. To her surprise, Ursula led her right to it.
Opening the doors of a large closet, Ursula pulled open a drawer and was going through the clothing in it. Hanging from several coral hooks, Ariel could see different accessories and things that looked like something Ursula would wear. As the sea witch continued to go through the drawer, murmuring to herself, her skin was still pale, her eyes still bright blue, her hair still scarlet red, but the biggest and best change was that she had legs, beautiful, long, glorious legs, that she could kick and separate, and even hotter was the spot inside her, in between those gorgeous legs, the spot that Ursula touched that made her see stars.
She was so entranced by her reflection that she was startled when the tentacled woman came up behind her, holding something small in her hands. The sea witch lifted her arms with 2 of her tentacles to remind her of her payment made her shiver in delight. Ursula's arm came around her and her fingernails brushed at her still peaked nipples. Ariel tilted her head back and moaned softly, but a tentacle forced her head forward, so she had to continue looking in the mirror.
Ursula was holding a pair of the tiniest shells Ariel had ever seen. They were the same shape as the purple ones, but were golden instead. Ursula placed them on top of her breasts and tied them tightly behind her back with a tiny golden string. The cups of the shells... I just imagine they just go... The cups of the shells barely covered her large nipples and areolas. Two of Ursula's tentacles resettled the cups on her breasts and tightened the strings even further, making Ariel's tits look even bigger than they were, which was already bigger than Ursula's. They seemed enormous on Ariel's slim frame.
The girl watched as Ursula picked up another item, also golden color. It looked like a piece of seaweed. But what could the sea witch need with a piece of seaweed for? Oh, God. Ariel soon forgot the question as several of Ursula's tentacles spread her legs apart. The girl closed her eyes and let her head loll back. But again, Ursula's tentacles forced her head up and opened her eyes as she watched curiously as the witch lifted her legs slightly and pulled the piece of seaweed up between her legs. Ariel could now see that it was a circle of seaweed, with one piece that divided in half. Each of her legs was in one of the pockets formed by the dividing strand.
Alright. Ursula pulled up the seaweed until the circle settled very low on her hips. The dividing piece of golden seaweed covered the holes between her legs, but only just barely. She could also feel the piece settle tightly in the cleft of her ass. Ariel looked at Ursula curiously, but didn't protest.
The sea witch smirked at her young lover and led her toward the clam lounge. Sounds like her.
My dear, you must be tired. Why don't you sleep? Ursula suggested, pushing Ariel down onto the lounge.
But Ariel started reaching for her tentacle. Ursula drew them away and shoved Ariel down, holding her down with her tentacles.
I said sleep, Ursula said in a dangerous... I said sleep, Ursula said in a dangerous voice, reminding Ariel of the fact that she was still a sea witch. Ariel nodded but pouted innocently, yet seductively. Ursula smiled darkly and moved so she was settled on the lounge with Ariel, leaning her head and shoulders onto her body, but otherwise laying in her tentacles. The human mermaid girl closed her eyes as the tentacles moved over her barely covered body, suction cups clinging and sucking on her skin. Ariel trembled as they slid the seaweed down and a tentacle prodded at her hole, which was dripping again. As the fiery-haired
girl quivered, the tentacles teasing and touching, Ursula smiled. King Triton's most innocent daughter was hers. Ooh, her innocence. Ooh.
Yeah, that was it.
Alright, so
yeah, that was a fucking great fanfic.
There is an author's note at the end.
Yeah.
I said it was pure smut at the beginning. Flames entertain me. Go ahead and vent about how perverted I am. I bet nobody did. I bet nobody came and read this on purpose just to make fun of it.
No,
wait,
they
shit.
came to... Oh, yeah. Wait.
I revised this at the request of the author of Tentacle. Should I review it?
I don't know, maybe.
Can you make a story about Ariel and Sebastian the Crab? Because there's nothing I'd love to see more than Sebastian to crawl completely inside of Ariel. Period.
Period.
No, it's just doing text-to-speech. So.
Yeah.
Post-review. Thanks for listening,
Yeah.
folks. That's all. If you want more, y'all just come on back now, you hear?
Alright, see you later. Thanks for listening.